Joining us now is Foluke Daramola-Salako, a veteran filmmaker, producer, director, and human rights activist. After earning a master's degree in international law and diplomacy, she began her political journey. But as a rapist survivor, a sexual assault survivor, Foluke has transformed her trauma into advocacy, breaking the silence and fighting the stigma. Today, she raises awareness, supports survivors, and seeks justice, inspiring many with her resilience and dedication. We are honored to hear her story and learn from her journey.
Thank you, Mom.
So good to see you.
Same here, Mama.
So you saw the first half of the show. So you obviously know our train of thoughts when it concerns this issue.
Yeah.
But I need you to share your story with us. What happened?
It was actually my tenant, even though
your tenants.
Our tenant, yes.
Okay.
When I was 17, and I used to be so free. I was a big baby. So automatically he thought maybe I was older than I really was, and I used to play around him because I was a small tomboy that was just all over the place, And then it happened when his sister was getting married or so.
So there was an event.
There was an event, yeah. So we stay in the front apartment. They were staying at the back. So, and they gave me some plates to give to them. So nobody was at home then. So I took the plates to the apartment upstairs during this, when I was coming from the staircase, because the staircase is like dark and everything. He had been asking me teasing questions like...
How old was he for starters?
He was about 24.
Okay.
So he had been asking me questions like about sex and all. But I used to tell him that, why are you saying that? You understand? Because I saw him like a big brother, kind of, So that day, he just took the plates from me and he dragged, and I used to wear mini skirts. That gave me a phobia. I've become worse. I hardly wear mini skirts. So I just tore my skirts.
Are you serious?
And yes, and then it was his finger that he used.
Wow.
So, and then, before he actually penetrated. So, I was soaked in my own blood. Were you
screaming?
I was screaming, but, because it's like a secluded staircase, Oh,
so it's right under the staircase that
yes, in the staircase, the staircase like this, like this and this. So that platform.
Yes.
Yes, that was where. So he took the plate from me, and just dropped it, and and bang, So I was soaked in my own blood. So that's how I went to my mom. You understand? And I was crying and everything. Obviously I didn't even know that it was rape. Well, I knew that it was rape, but then, it was just,
So what now happened after that?
So after that, we went to the police station, and then obviously they were asking me, what do you wear? Why you go there for evening? Why you go, say that man, they stay house.
Difference.
And then it just made it worse. And then obviously that silenced me. It silenced me. I was not...
How did your father feel?
My father was late. Okay. It was my mom. You understand? Okay. It was my mom. And my mom had a brother, my uncle, Kamil Shobu. Then he was alive then and wanted to have make a case of it. But of course, my mom was like, no. They would what is it? They would make me...
But did he deny it when he was accused?
Of course, throughout.
He said he didn't touch you?
Yes, throughout, But later when my uncle was really, really on his case, then they had to leave our house. And then it was really messy. But, because of the fact that I could not pin it to him to say that this person, no evidence. Rape is a very complex thing that at the end of the day, if you are not careful, the victim, the
culprit can now act like he's the victim.
Yeah, exactly. You understand? Like you are just making it up or something. You understand? And that made it worse because of the fact that you couldn't share your story with people, and people might not just somehow be partial about their impression.
This is so sad.
You understand? So at the end of the day, I went to the university. I went to Ife for my first degree with that feeling. When I was in, if I enter a room with a guy, if I'm in a room with a guy and the door shuts, automatically I get agitated. So I was frigid. And even in my first marriage I used to look at sex like torture, like pain, like you went there to inflict pain on me. So when I left my first marriage and I met a friend that I dated, he told me, you have a problem. You have to see a psychiatrist. I said, I'm not mad, I'm okay. He said, no. He said, you are traumatized. And he said, I said, I won't go that route. Fortunately for me, he had a friend that was a psychiatrist that was based in the US. And that he used to talk to me, he would just come to me like normal friend, and then he would talk to me. But one thing that has helped me to heal was the fact that he told me, you have to talk about it. If you don't talk about it, you won't heal.
So you don't think that a woman can go through this experience and survive without necessarily talking to anybody about it? You don't think
it's not possible.
Absolutely impossible?
It is absolutely impossible. I can tell you for sure. Even though you might lie to yourself that you've gotten over it, but it's a lie. You just can't. It's either of two things. It's either you're frigid or you become an infomaniac.
Okay, yeah, that's what Bimbo was saying.
So it's either of two things, you understand? So you just end up not liking it or getting excessive with it.
Wow. So what advice do you have to give victims like you, or survivors, not victims, sorry, survivors like you? What advice do you have to give them to stop this kind of experience, to heal?
What I'll just tell them is that, first and foremost, you are not the one that has caused what has happened to you. Things happen. Things happen. So the truth of the matter is, you have to understand that this is not excuse me. So this,
Take the phone. Go ahead.
So first and foremost, this is not what you caused on yourself. It can happen to anybody. Yeah. It's just the situation that you find yourself. Mm-hmm. And you have to be able to understand that life happens. And when life happens, you have to just deal with it and not blame yourself. You understand? And also, most of us are suicidal. And then, the beauty about it is for you to be able to, for others to learn from your mistakes or from your experience. I won't call it a mistake. Yeah. You understand? To learn from your experience and be able to understand that you can come out better without you thinking that my life has ended. Because most of us end up being a shadow of ourselves. We don't have no form of self-esteem. We feel that we are worthless. You understand? And so at the end of the day, you have to gather energy and be able to talk about it.
Yeah, but also it's true. We discussed the effect of social media, because in the movie, the social media played a prominent role in bringing justice to the victim. But there was also the idea that it could be a two-way street.
Yes.
Do you understand?
True.
It could also attack,
of course,
as well as support.
Exactly.
So how would you advise somebody in your situation?
You have to be able to balance.
Do you think that they should, regardless of the reaction?
No. You have to be able to balance it, and that's why you have to have it. You have to have been able to balance it mentally on your own. Because if you do not balance it mentally on your own, there's a likelihood that you can fall into depression. Especially when people start chastising you and it comes out negative from the perspective of the fact that people see it as you caused it for yourself, you are the one that you're supposed to do this, you understand. So with that, at the end of the day, you find out that if social media has its advantage, but if you do not balance it, and then if you are too restricted or too focused on the fact that this is where I want to get justice, it might not come that way.
Yeah, but sometimes, do you think that they do it because they want justice, or they just do it because they want to lend their voice to other victims?
You have to be able to channel your voice in the right way. You can't just say you want to hear your voice. Sometimes, just as I've said, some people might just be...
Or maybe it's therapeutic for them to just talk about it. Not necessarily because they want to even call out any names, but they just want to talk about the experience and share it with other
but at the
people who have
same
gone through
time, you know,
shoes.
you have to understand that there are borderlines to these things. You understand? That's why I said
What do you
earlier
mean by
that
borderlines?
that's why I said earlier that rape is a very complex thing. You understand? When you accuse someone of rape, you have to have strong evidence, which is not likely
How many
to
people really have that?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that at the end of the day, I was a victim, and at the end of the day, I never got justice.
Exactly.
I never got justice because at the end of the day, it's very flexible.
No, okay, but can evidence only be achieved by doing a test? Because
Yes,
sometimes they say you go to the doctor
in Nigeria
and then,
today,
yes.
Nigeria today, it can
You
be
do-
achieved by
you do a test to see
though
whether it was
if
a
you
false
are
entry.
hell bent, you can take it a step further. But you know
What do you
that
do?
is
What's the
a
step
step
further?
further. Maybe trying to get evidence, maybe conversation from the culprit. You understand? Maybe taunting him to go to that place. You understand?
Okay, so that you can use verbal evidence.
Yes, verbal evidence, you understand? Taunting the rapist, you know. But apart from that, it's a very, very flexible thing that is almost impossible.
So do you advise that anybody that is raped, unfortunately gets raped, should instantly go for medical...
Instantly. If
to
I knew what I
collect
know
evidence?
now, immediately, the first place I will go to is the hospital.
Okay.
The first place I'll go to is... So I advise, if such happens to you, God forbid, you understand? The first place you should go to is the hospital.
Okay.
You know why? Apart from having evidence, to be able to clear your system of any negative thing, you understand, unwanted pregnancy, ailment, anything, you understand? So if you try to do the first aid by going to a nearby hospital or clinic, you have done yourself 90% good.
Yes, because you can also check the sperm. and
Exactly.
realize that
Then
the same-
subsequently, you now go to the police station.
But as you continue to work for an advocate, what are your hopes for the future? What do you hope that what reform policies do you think should be put in place to make it more, to make the victims feel more empowered?
First and foremost, it's we should be able to see it as a cause. We should see it as a cross and cause. You know, when they say there's a cross to every individual, you understand? So you always leave that gap that this thing can always happen to one in 10 cases. You understand? Aside the fact that we won't go there today, but it's not restricted to the female.
Oh yes, of course.
Also the male
The
folks
male-
as well, you
males get
understand?
raped, too.
And then, you know, a lot of taking advantage happens, especially when kids grow up. You understand? And then the relationship of parents to children.
children, yes, we
I
discussed
always
that too.
tell people when I go for advocacy talks like this that you have to be able to know your child, both male and female. If you have a child that is boisterous, always excited, jumpy, and then she becomes restrained, you should be able to tell that there's something amiss. And when you find a child that is very obedient and very gentle, and all of a sudden she becomes unruly and she becomes very defensive and she's keeping to herself more, you have to take it a step further. And when a child is telling you, Mommy, I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. And then, please, people, try as much as possible not to streamline or box your children on words heads to religion. I'm sorry, I'm a Christian, but I must say, it's quite unfortunate that a lot of religious leaders have done more harm than good. Not all.
How do you mean?
A lot of I have cases with para that pastors that I won't mention their churches have had to rape a 6-year-old child,
my
a
goodness.
7-year-old child. And guess what? When we start taking it a step further and we say, their parents, we should do this, they'll say, you just go back there and they'll tell you, please don't worry, it's God that has done it. He's a man of God. I don't want touch not my anointed, do my prophet no harm. And then it is swept under the carpet. So a lot of people has been hypnotized mentally with religion.
David and Goliath situation.
Yes. So parents should be their words religious leaders. Don't go and tell your daughter to go and learn from pastor or pastor's wife. No. Teach your daughter, teach your son what he or she needs to know. Because these are the areas, I'm telling you this, and there are 75, 80% of these cases.
Serious?
I am not joking. I am not joking. There was a case that happened in a school that I'm very aware of, that it was a pastor that had been abusing a girl from when she was 11 or 12 till she was 17 or 18.
Oh my
It was
word.
a big issue. It was a big
And what happened
issue.
to him?
They got him, I'm trying, maybe he's in cell or anything, but you know the deed has been done. That girl had become suicidal. Meanwhile, the mother would always go to the pastor to say this, and this, and this, and this, this, and this, and this. And I asked the same pastor to ask kids in the same school. So why were you not sleeping with your own daughters? Why were you sleeping with a woman's daughter that had 6 syllables from you? Meanwhile, what do you need to teach your child that you cannot teach your child? That you have to say, Pastor, pray for my... No, you can pray on your own.
Yeah, you can. God hears all prayers.
A lot of times, it is the fact that we push too much responsibilities to our religious
Even
leaders.
staff.
And then they assume... And staff.
Yes,
and then they
staff.
assume too much responsibility.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, there's a gap between your word and
yes,
the parent.
Thank you so much, Foluke, for this very deep insight you've given us into this issue. And I really pray that as the days and years go by, it now becomes a thing of the past.
Amen.
And the consequences become so great that the culprits will think twice before making that step again. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Mom.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, as we wrap up today's conversation, I want to acknowledge the incredible courage and strength it takes to not only survive, but to stand up and speak out against injustice. The broader societal response to rape must evolve to break the stigma, support survivors, and hold perpetrators accountable. Let's remember that change starts with conversations like this. And with every story shared, we move one step closer to a world where survivors are heard, believed, and supported. And as I keep saying, remember that life is a learning curve. So that's all we have time for today. You've been watching Perspectives here on Arise News with me, Ruth Osime. See you next week.